Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to another advanced listening practice lesson. Well, I hope you're excited for another lesson set where I'm speaking really quickly, and I've actually spent this whole afternoon recording lessons for a new Master English Conversation lesson set. And since I was talking about connections in this one, I thought I would talk about some connections in this video too. But hopefully I don't lose my voice because I've been speaking a lot and I'm really excited to teach, but sometimes it can be the death of me. This is a really great word. When something is the death of you, it just means you're passionate about that thing, or maybe you do it too much and maybe you shouldn't do it so much, something like that. So in this case, I really enjoy teaching, so I can, talk so much that it becomes the death of me, something like that. Anyway, if you are new to this series, I highly recommend you go back and watch some of the previous videos where we're talking about specific grammar points, like our lesson set or our video series here on YouTube about beginning English grammar, or if you want to learn slang or any of those things. But all of those lessons are where I'm speaking more slowly, so you can get used to the sound of my voice. That way, when you're watching these videos, it's much easier for you to understand things. Anyway, if you're ready for this lesson, let's begin. Well, I want to do something kind of different. Actually, I kind of begin these lessons all talking about that. I'm always trying to be different and, do something crazy or strange or whatever, because I get bored easily. But maybe that's the death of me too. I'm always trying to do something new and interesting. And what's interesting, actually, this is kind of a different topic. It's something I, just kind of came up right now while I'm talking about it, while I'm thinking about it. But to do, I had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine. We were talking about business and the people that succeed become really successful at what they do. And often it's the people that can do one thing really well and then they just do that thing almost mindlessly. They can just practice over and over again to really get good at that thing. And so my problem with that is I can get kind of bored with something. Maybe you can relate to that idea. So when I'm asking you maybe you can relate, this is a great way, a native conversational way of saying that maybe you can appreciate what I'm saying, or maybe you have a similar experience. So maybe you can relate. Maybe you can relate with what I'm saying. So maybe you can relate with what I'm saying when I'm talking about, well, you're kind of a smart person, or you think you are anyway, and you're, going together with trying to pursue a particular thing, but maybe it gets kind of boring and you're I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to do this thing again. I want to try something different. And that's why my YouTube channel is filled with lots of different kinds of videos, different series, as I try different things and see what happens. So even if something is really successful, I get bored with it and want to do something different. So hopefully you can tell me down in the comments below which series you actually happen to enjoy, and I'll try to focus myself and do those things some more. Anyway, so in this video, what I wanted to talk about is a minimum viable product. I like to make different connections between things because there are connections everywhere that most people don't see. So if I can make connections between maybe business or sports or, whatever, anything else that can help you improve your fluency, I am very excited about that. So in thinking about building a business, a lot of people do kind of what I did, actually, the kind of stupid way of building a business, and this is what I don't recommend people do, which is spending a whole bunch of time thinking about your own idea, and then you try to produce something, and then you release a particular thing, and then it doesn't sell, whatever that thing is. So I've definitely done that before, multiple times. Actually, multiple times. Yeah, I kind of am ashamed to admit it took me more than one failure in order to learn how to do things the right way. But now that I do, I'm much happier for it. Anyway, so the opposite approach, what I do now, is really listen to people and try to figure out what the actual problems people have and, whatever they're trying to solve. But when kind of a thing in business now is really having a minimum viable product. And these are three things that come together. So minimum means the least, the lowest, the smallest amount of something that is actually helpful, whatever that thing is. So viable means that, it actually is helpful in some way. It's something that can become a product. And then the product is, well, it's just whatever that thing is. So a minimum viable product or a minimum viable service. So this is kind of a buzzword, and the word buzzword just means it's kind of a popular term people use to sound important or included in whatever the popular language happens to be. So a buzzword for business is a minimum viable product. So as opposed to taking a long time to produce something that's really polished, that's looking really beautiful and really great, but it takes a lot of time and money, you just try to make the most basic thing possible just to see like if that's what people want. And then you use that opportunity as a way of like working with the people you're creating that product for. So it could be maybe I'm trying to develop a new software product, something like that, and I'm working with a group of people. Like, okay, they want me to develop it in this way, so I try this, and then I say, what do they think? And they're like, oh, this is great, but that's maybe not so good. Something like that. Anyway, so I'm talking with these people and trying to create something from a minimum viable product. So I begin with something that like will solve the problem even if it's not perfect. So a lot of people can do that. They can build like a very simple version of a game that's really fun to play, but maybe it doesn't look so great. So this is a minimum viable product. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about minimum viable product is because I really want people to think about fluency and practicing their English, or practicing whatever that thing is, but especially learning English, because that's why you're on this channel. The reason I want you to think about a minimum viable product is because I also want you to not make that same mistake of trying to polish your English first and then trying to practice. It doesn't work that way. So you can't like polish your English, try to sit and learn a whole bunch of words like you're sitting by yourself at your desk and trying to learn all these vocabulary words or something like that so that when you get into a conversation you can use them. But then it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You've got to build, this is why I talk about building fluency. It's not like you get fluent and then you go practice. It doesn't work that way. You have to build fluency by practicing, so you learn and practice, learn and practice, learn and practice. And it's the combination of these things and the minimum viable product, or the most basic kind of thing you can do to prepare for a lesson, or just to prepare to speak, is really like, maybe learning a few words or something like that, but then actually making more effort to go out and practice. So you should be spending maybe 20% of your time learning and 80% or more, whatever you can, of actually practicing that thing. Because the practice is really where it comes from. That's the discipline of actually speaking and developing fluency and being able to use words and phrases without thinking. All of those things are connected, but you don't get it first unless you practice. So you can't try to like polish your English first and then go for like trying to practice after that. It's such an important point. I really want you to understand this and remember it and use it, because it's really the same idea from business is exactly true for learning English as well. So anytime you're doing something, it's actually the process of working with someone. So having conversations is what develops your ability to have conversations. But you begin with simple ones and then you work up to more complicated conversations from that. So this is a really important idea, and you should see exactly how that's working right here on the YouTube channel. Now, excuse me, when I'm like making new videos or I'm trying new things, recently I got a green screen and some nicer lighting, things like that, and I'm just kind of experimenting with different things. But I was thinking about it like, what's the minimum viable product? What's the minimum, like the most basic idea? What's a way that I can really make videos quickly and get things out there that's really necessary? So let's say I have like a minimum viable product for YouTube would most likely be a video like actually showing my face. So if I have like a completely black screen, if you can't see my face right now, you can just hear me, like it's helpful, but it's more helpful if you can actually see me. Just because for learning languages, it's really appropriate and helpful to see me moving my lips and how I move. Like all of these things about the way I move are important to understanding what I'm saying, but also so you can copy these things and start improving your own fluency. So a minimum viable product would be like having sound and having video. So that's just like the two like most basic things I need to do. Now the quality of that, like it could depend. Like right now, like, this is a high definition video that I'm making, and it's pretty good. It could be like 4K or something like that, but like, does that really matter? Do you really care about having it be like a 4K video versus, like this basic thing that I'm making right now? So now high definition is almost like a kind of basic thing, like, 140p or 360p, something like that. So these are like lower levels of quality for making videos. So when I'm thinking about it, like, do you really care if there's like an interesting looking background behind me? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Some people do care about that, some people don't. But for the minimum viable product, if I'm like, let's say I was just starting making YouTube videos right now, Would I want to go out there and like, okay, I'm going to get great lighting and I'm going to get like an awesome background or make a green screen, and like all of that stuff takes time and effort and money. And if I want to go out and do those things, like thinking about all that is going to stop me from actually producing videos. So that's why when I first got started on YouTube, and most of the videos I produce is just me setting up a camera in a room that's pretty bright, and I produce the videos. So I actually record the sound. Like, it's important to me to have high quality sound. So I record the sound and put that on the video. Like, my video camera is not recording the sound. I have a separate recorder for that. But that's really the time that it takes me to connect those two things so that I can actually have a good quality video for you. So there's a certain basic level. This is the minimum viable product. Like, if you can't hear me or the sound is really bad, you don't want to listen to it, then even if I have a good message, then it's just kind of difficult to hear and it's annoying. So when you're thinking about your fluency, I'd like you to think about it in the same way. So don't wait, don't polish first. You want to practice to polish. So practice in order to polish. Don't polish first. It doesn't work that way. You actually have to go out and use the same kind of idea of like a minimum viable, like practicing ability, something like that. So just knowing even a few words is enough to get you out there to start practicing. And if you're watching this video right now, your understanding is already pretty good because I'm speaking quite quickly and you can understand what I'm saying, or most of it anyway. We will have transcripts for these lessons. We're getting a whole bunch of new. I just got 26 transcripts made for the first 26 videos in this series, and they will be appearing on the new EnglishAnyone.com shortly. So if you're watching this in 5 years, that's where you can find them. Anyway, they will be up shortly. But do take this idea seriously, that don't look for like, I really want you to kind of, an even better way to think about it is, what's the least amount of effort you can do to get out and practice? What's the least amount of information you need to know that you can start this process here? So this process is the important thing, not this like learning stuff over here. You want the processing practice of learning and developing fluency inside of conversations, that kind of thing. So get out there. If you can understand this video, you already have that. So don't be shy. Don't be nervous. Get out there and actually start improving. Well, I think I've spoken too much today as it is. I'm like losing my voice over here, but man, these videos are going to be the death of me. So enjoy them while I'm still alive and can make these videos. But if I do die, because it will have been worth it for me. I really enjoy making these videos, and I hope you have enjoyed them as well. Well, this is my obnoxious, like, do subscribe to the channel and do like this video. Click the like button like 4 or 5 times if you can. You know, get on 2 different computers and like click like on it again. That would be awesome. Anyway, so do like this video. Do share it with like 3,000 people if you know them. You know, however you can share it. Like maybe you can get one of those like skywriting airplanes where it says like watch Drew's video, you know, something like that. So do like, share, comment below. Tell me if you think like, you know, I should be making something different or not, or if you like having the backgrounds or if you don't, whatever, you know, just let me know what you're thinking about that. But do get out there, do practice, like, share, comment, all of those things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.